What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are finally doing some work on the S2000. We haven't touched this car in a while. Honestly, I bought it, I don't really know why. When I bought the car, I was trying to buy another car. That deal fell through. So I felt like I needed to buy a car when I wasn't really looking for an S2K at the time. I wanted one, I've always wanted one, but I wasn't really looking for it. That's why I bought the car, and then it's just been sitting. So today we're gonna be doing the first official mod that we're doing to the car, and I'm really excited for it. It's a nice little simple mod, but I think it's gonna completely change the interior of the car. This is a gauge cluster overlay from Illumisthetic. I'm really excited for this. I think it's gonna look super nice. They have a ton of different options available on the site, and I think the option I went with was the red and white version, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a minute. I need to figure out how to get the gauge cluster out of the car. Before we do that, let me show you guys what it looks like right now. So this is the current factory look of the gauge cluster. Honestly, one of my favorite things, don't mind my check engine light, on the S2K is the tack. It's so sick. I freaking love it. But all of that orange in there, I'm not the biggest fan of. It's kind of old school. I mean, this is an old school car, so of course, but I think the new one is gonna make everything look a lot nicer. Let's go ahead and get this guy opened up and see what it looks like. All right, first thing we gotta do, of course, is get the gauge cluster out. So there is the steering column bezel we're gonna remove, 3 screws underneath, pull that guy out. Underneath the bezel, there will be 4 bolts holding the steering column up to the dash bar. We're gonna drop the steering column down, and then this whole bezel surrounding the gauge cluster. So from here all the way over there, that whole thing's gonna pop out. There'll be a few screws holding the gauge cluster in. Pop those 4 screws out, I believe there's 4, and we can start doing some modification work. From here, we're gonna go ahead, pull these 2 screws off right here, and then the lens of the cluster is gonna pop off. This guy over here is the factory gauge face that we just pulled out. She was sitting right down in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull out the 5 bulbs in there. We're replacing those bulbs with the bulbs that they included. And we also have to take this reflective tape and pretty much run it everywhere from this edge in, except of course don't cover where the bulbs go. That's kind of what I understood from their online tutorial. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out. I think that's just for reflective purposes, just so it's a little bit brighter. And then we should be able to get the new face in, put the cluster back together, get her back in the car, and see how she looks. Okay, this is what we ended up with. I think we're good there. Let's grab our new bulbs, slap the bulbs in, get the new face on. So here's a little side-by-side of how the faces look. Stock face, Illumisthetic face. It should look pretty nice. before I put the face on, actually, I'm gonna go ahead, throw this thing in the car, power it up, and make sure we got all those bulbs in facing the right way, because I do believe you can put them in wrong. So 180 of how they should be. All 5 bulbs are working. It doesn't matter which way you put them. I found out, so they can go either way. All right, this thing is all finished up, 100% ready to go back in the car. I wiped everything down with the IPA just to make sure we didn't have any dust, dirt, or debris on it. So let's go ahead and get this thing slapped back in. It's getting nice and dark outside, so we can go on maybe go on a little cruise and see how she looks. Ooh. It definitely has a green tint to it. I still think it looks really, really nice though. So much better than what was in here. That is sick. Went and drove the car. I really like the gauge cluster, the overlay. I think it's super, super nice. Much better than the factory one. If you guys want to pick this exact one up or any of the other ones that they offer on their site, I'll have it linked down in the description box below. I know today is a short video. Honestly, I'm feeling kind of burnt out these days on all of the cars. When I come to the shop, I'm not super excited or super stoked to get to work on any of the cars. I feel like I always go through phases, super into doing everything, uploading daily, just on the grind, and then I kind of get burnt out, have to take a little bit of a break, slow down a little bit, and I feel like I'm going into that slow stage right now where I'm just like, when I come to the shop, like I said, man, I'm not stoked to do much. Maybe it's just because I've had all the same cars for a while. I know we haven't done much to the S2K, but pretty much all the other cars we've had for a while, maybe I should change it up. I don't know. Gonna wrap it up right here. Go hang out with Bobby for the night and just chill out and relax. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow.